Hey everybody, this is Dory. I was asked to make a follow-through wing tutorial. And I like the idea. Be not necessarily the follow-through part because that just comes with a wing in general, but the anatomy of a wing, the art of drawing a wing, and the art of animating a wing. You have to do it in that order, or you're just going to end up messing up along the way. So, I decided I would make a series of tutorials starting with the anatomy of a wing, specifically the bird wing, this type of bird wings. As you can see, I've scribbled down the names so I don't sound like a complete idiot while I'm trying to remember them. I don't have them memorized. You don't have to have them memorized. You're not a vet. You're an artist. You can sound all smart and hooty-tooty if you say, this is the humerus, and this is the radius, and this is the carpal, and this is the metacarpal, and these are the phalanges. But you don't need to know that. Not really. Anyway, you need to know that this is what controls the thumb and the alua. You need to know that this part has its own section of feathers, that this part has its own section of feathers, and that this part has its own section of feathers. Do you need to know the names of the bones? No. That being said, we're going to lower the opacity on this and bring it up here so I can draw on it. The types of feathers and the feathers of a wing. Bird wings vary because you have birds that fly for long periods of time, you have birds that just fly between trees, and you have birds that glide around on the ocean breeze. I kind of rhymed there, didn't I? That's kind of cool. So, the length of your humerus and your radius, everything's going to vary. And the weight of them. Your radius will vary in weight, and your humerus will vary in weight, like seagulls and the albatross. They're going to have really thin bones because they have to move for long periods of time. They have to be really light. Birds like the cardinals and the eagles, they're going to have, thicker bones, stronger muscles to control long periods of flight through pure power. Well, not exactly. They're more like soaring. So you have gliding wings, soaring wings, high-speed wings, and hovering wings. I might be forgetting one. And each one has a slightly different shape. The bone structure is pretty much the same on every bone. So let's make that go away. And I'm going to quickly sketch the types of wings. We're going to start with the gliding wings. And gliding wings are very, they're anime wings. Okay. They're the ones that have the long primary feathers, very angular primary feathers. And they are made for, and here's your bone structure. They are made for long distance gliding, catching wind, and just moving along currents. And then you have soaring wings, which you see almost, if you're going to draw a dragon or a griffin, they're going to probably have soaring wings because they're not light, they're heavy creatures, and they're probably going to be carrying heavy things, so they need to have strong, powerful wings that can catch wind currents better and really propel them. So all of your creatures are going to have, probably, not necessarily, you may have a really skinny light dragon that has soaring wings. So we're gonna label these correctly. So we have gliding. This is my poor handwriting. And then soaring. E-N-A-N-G. We can see that my skill is not spelling. And these are gonna have a shorter humerus, a shorter radius. The radius is gonna be thicker, and the radius is this thing. And the tendons are going to be thicker in here because they have to, really pull that wing. So when it gets to the end, they're going to be more convex. They're going to be more convex. Here I am spouting off feathers instead of shapes. And you have a section of wings here and a section of wings here. Okay. When an eagle flies, their primaries are very uneven. Their primaries aren't going to be like as much as like this, though these do move on, obviously on gliding ones too. The soaring feathers primaries are it's a very large part of how they fly, because when they fly, these feathers, when they're going down, they gather together. When they're going up, they spread apart to, or is it backwards? Where they spread apart when they're going down and come together when they're coming up. We'll go over that in the animation, but they are a large part of the movement and flight of an eagle, or a hawk, or an owl. And that general kind of, and probably your griffins and dragons with feathered wings are going to have soaring wings. And they're very prime examples of what a feathered friend should look like. So then we have those. And then you have, here I am forgetting all my wings. Your little cardinals and your pigeons are gonna have wings like this. They're gonna have very fat stubby wings because they're cute. So they're gonna really fat stubby wings because they're fat stubby birds. I don't know. That's because they don't have to fly for very long periods of time. They only have to fly between trees and buildings. They don't have to fly, well, I suppose buildings weren't a part of their, evolution. But they don't have to fly very far. They're like forest birds that live in nests and homes, and they don't have to go through long periods of time, so they don't have to fly very far. So they never developed really long primaries. They flap their wings a lot. So if you're going to have a very small animal, they're probably going to have these kinds of wings, and they're probably going to flap the crap out of them because, they're not meant to fly long distances. They're the cute birds. And then there's like the hummingbirds, which are kind of like these two combined because they have like these long angular, but then they have big fat. I'm all squeezed for space, making it look funny. We're gonna slide over here and deselect. Here I am forgetting my shortcuts, even though we're working so hard to remember them. And so hummingbirds, they're the hovering. They can stay at one place. Their wings beat rapidly. I think rapid flying. And these right here are going to be the ones you're probably going to use. These three in here. This one, and this one. So those are the basic anatomy in general of the types of wings. So we're going to go over the feathers. I'm checking my time because I'm at 8 minutes. So this is part 1. And we're going to sketch real quick. You're humorous. Yo, radius. Look, I sound smart. No. And then general phalanges. So drawing that, we're going to draw right on top of it, and I'm going to explain the types of feathers. Okay. And then go ahead and sketch out your basic shape of a wing. Alright. Okay. These are going to be the really long feathers are your primaries. And, they're what help. When they move, they usually move in a circular motion in flight. And they catch the wind, they bring, they're important. You can't, if a bird, whenever you clip a bird's wings to keep them from flying, I believe that's what you clip, because without them, because these are the primaries. And this is the alnua. I practiced saying that, can you tell? It's the tiny little group of feathers on top of the feathers, which the capula's pa is underneath. It's sort of like the thumb is. And then you have your coverts, which are like these tiny little feathers, and they're ranged from like medium primary. In general, you should just know there's a lot of them, and they're all in here. They range, you know, have your medium coverts, your primary coverts, and they're like, they're all the little feathers, and they're in here. And then you have your secondaries, which are these feathers in here. And they're the ones that are connected to your radius bone in here. And then you have another group of feathers, which I can't remember the name of. I think it's like scapularis. If somebody knows, please tell me, because I forget. It's a lot of things that you don't need to memorize. You don't need to know that this is called the alua. All you need to know is what they do and how they affect flight. How that this part catches this, and that this part moves through this, and that when a bird lands and takes off, that this part of the wing does this. And we're going to go over that in later videos. Right now, I would say as homework, because we all know you're diligent students and you want to learn, I would say go look up a bunch of, you know, they have them all over Google. And all you have to do is search bird wing anatomy. And you'll get a lot of pictures of feathers and, you know, bone anatomy. And you can go into it and you can really study it. Or you can just breeze over it. Practice drawing a wing. And by then, whenever I upload my next tutorial, I will cover bat wings and pterodactyls. So dinosaurs, yay! Dinosaurs and bats, and we'll go over how their wing anatomy is compared to birds, because I do believe birds have like some fingers in here. They're just small. So that's a basic bird wing anatomy. So basically you need to know that in general these two are going to be the same length. That would be, if you're going to take anything away from this, no matter how big you make your wings, just try to keep these two the same length. I don't know how many times I've seen wings on dragons that look like this, and I'm like, how would it fly? So, in general, take away from this that these are probably going to be your longest feathers. Silly Photoshop. These are probably going to be your longest feathers unless it has a more convex wing and it flies shorter distances. These two are about the same length, and they each have their own set of feathers, but it's usually not obvious. So we're at 13 minutes, and that's pretty good. 13 minutes, yay! I know the layer's hidden. You're hidden, Photoshop. So that's my general on bird wing anatomy, and next week we'll go over, you know, drawing bat wings. Bat wings. This is me trying to draw bat wings really quick. We'll go over bat wings and pterodactyl wings. Anyway, so that's awesome. That's great. I hope you guys like this tutorial on bird wing anatomy, and I hope you look forward to seeing how you animate bird wings and how you can apply them to your creature and weight distribution. All of that I will go over in later tutorials. Please like, favorite, comment, subscribe, and tell me if I did a really bad job.